In South Los Angeles, something terrifying was happening. Police thought they were hunting one serial killer, but they weren't. They were hunting three. And the worst part? They arrested the wrong man. Let me tell you how this started. Back in the 1980s and 90s, South Los Angeles was seeing something disturbing. Women were disappearing. Then they would turn up in empty lots, alleys, places people avoided at night. At first, police thought it was random violence, but then something strange happened. The cases started to look connected. Same types of victims, same general area, same kind of fear. So investigators made a decision. They said, this has to be one serial killer. But that assumption, that's where everything started to fall apart, because they were wrong. And they had no idea how wrong they were. Now, one of the earliest killers operating in this chaos was someone who blended in completely. No dramatic profile, no obvious warning signs, just a man living in South Los Angeles. Chester Turner. At first, investigators couldn't connect everything. Some cases didn't match, some timelines didn't line up, some details felt off. And here's the key moment. Instead of thinking there might be multiple killers, they assumed the evidence was just messy. That one killer was getting smarter, but while they were trying to make that theory work, something worse was already happening. Another killer was already active in the exact same city. Now this is where the story takes a turn, because investigators were under pressure. The public wanted answers, and they needed a suspect. That's when they focused on a man named David Allen Jones. He lived in the area, and he had a minor record. And in a case with no clear direction, that was enough. Witnesses were brought in, statements were taken, a theory was built piece by piece, and slowly, something dangerous happened. The theory started becoming truth, even without hard evidence. No DNA, no definitive proof, just assumptions stacking on assumptions. And then he was convicted. Case closed. But here's the part nobody knew at the time. The real killer was still out there, still walking the same streets, still killing. Years passed. Then science caught up. DNA testing reopened old cases, and what investigators discovered changed everything. The crimes Jones was convicted for, he didn't commit them. Not a single one. The evidence pointed somewhere else entirely, back to Chester Turner. And just like that, Jones was exonerated, released, and cleared. But here's the part that should give you chills. While he was in prison, the real killer never stopped operating. Now investigators thought maybe this was just one case of mistaken identity. But then they discovered something even more disturbing. There wasn't just one killer. There was another one at the same time. Same city, same years, same type of victims. Lonnie Franklin Jr. And this guy, he was hiding in plain sight. A regular member of the community. Someone people saw every day and never suspected. So now think about this. While investigators were trying to solve Turner's case, Franklin was already active, unnoticed, unlinked, unstopped. 2 killers, same streets, same timeline. No one even realized it. But it gets even worse, because there was a third layer to this nightmare. A man who didn't stay in one place. He moved across states, across cities, across decades. No consistent pattern, no single jurisdiction. Samuel Little. And while Los Angeles investigators were focused on local cases, he was slipping through the cracks. Sometimes his timeline overlapped. Sometimes his geography overlapped. But because everything was fragmented, no one saw the full picture, not until decades later. Now here's the moment everything clicks. Investigators finally started comparing cases properly. And what they realized was horrifying. They weren't dealing with one serial killer. They were dealing with multiple, all operating independently but overlapping in time, in the same city. At the same time police were trying to build a single narrative, they were actually watching several different crimes unfold side by side. And that mistake, it led to something devastating. An innocent man went to prison while multiple real killers kept going. Because when everything looks connected, it becomes dangerously easy to connect the wrong dots. Today, these cases have been partially solved. Some killers identified, some victims accounted for, some truths restored. But one question still remains. How many victims were missed? Not because investigators weren't trying, but because they were chasing the wrong pattern. South Los Angeles wasn't haunted by one monster. It was haunted by several, and for years, no one realized the nightmare was bigger than they'd ever imagined. And what you just heard is only what we know for sure. If this story pulled you in, if it made you stop and think, then you already understand why I make these videos. There are stories out there that deserve to be told the right way. Stories that were misunderstood, overlooked, or nearly forgotten. And every time you watch, like, or subscribe, you help bring those stories back into the light. So if you want more deep dives like this one, real cases, real tension, and the truth behind what really happened, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next story, it's even darker. This has been Infamous Histories TV. Until next time.